Alan. Peekaboo. 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 Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a very new to me video today because we're going to talk about this guy. We are going to talk about what the experience has been like, as he was my second bird but my first parrot to ever own, to ever actually experience. He was the first parrot I've ever been in a room with, I've ever petted, I've ever had any interaction with at all. And it has been quite the journey. So I thought we could talk about it, and I thought we could talk about what I'm doing to try to get better and learn more about this guy. Okay, so first thing to know about him. He loves peanuts. He's obsessed. We have a food mix that we get him that has peanuts, and he will go through a million of these and pick it out from his food. So I got this big bag at Costco, and so, to start, we got Alan from somebody that we know that I had messaged when our parakeet, Norbert, had passed away, when he had died, and we were wanting to get another bird. I was just seeing what options were out there for getting a parrot, because I know Andrew really wanted a parrot, and so I was just looking at what options there were. And so I messaged our friend that has parrots that I knew had gone through the adoption process for a parrot before, all of that. And she said, oh, go talk to these people. And by the way, tell them that we have a cockatoo. She kind of gave a little bit of a rundown on him. 4.5 years old, confirmed male, that we need to rehome, that needs a good home. And I said, oh, are you talking about Alan? Because we had been over at her house before and met Alan and saw him in all of his glory and his personality, and he was, first of all, obsessed with Andrew from the very second he saw him. Even that first time we met him, he was in love. And he was very sweet, and I thought that would be perfect for connecting him and Andrew, because they had such a good connection when we first saw him before. And so that started that whole process, and we got him from her. And so we've had him now almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in February, or the end of January. And the first week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, were amazing. He was just excited. He was in love with Andrew, and we talked to him all the time. We had him out, actually, any chance we could, quite a bit, and we could kiss his beak. He has 3 main things he says, and 4 or 5 total things he says so far. He says night night. He says give me a kiss, and he will do this little thing giving kisses. He plays peekaboo. So he'll play peekaboo like we were playing, and he'll say peekaboo. And then he'll also, after we got him, he started saying, I love you. So that first week, super affectionate. I could kiss his beak. I could pet him. I had him on my shoulder. He would go on your arm mostly. He didn't really like sitting on your hand very much, but he would hang out on my shoulder. He would give me kisses, and it was good. And then one night, we had him out. He was on Andrew's shoulder, and I was just standing there talking to Andrew, and Alan leaned forward and said, give me a kiss. And he tried to give me a kiss. So I leaned forward to kiss his beak like normal, and I'm pretty sure what happened is he slid. He didn't realize how far he was leaning forward, and he started sliding. And so to catch himself, he latched on right here. That was very scary. Freaked me out. I had a decent scar there for a bit. So that started my kind of journey with figuring myself out with him and with parrots in general, because he was my first experience with them. There was a couple of other times that he had either been startled and nipped my finger, or was giving me a warning and nipped my finger a little bit. Nothing anywhere near as intense, but we had some of those moments happen. So for me, it kickstarted a more nervous reaction, a more nervous approach, just from having those things happen. And it kickstarted me researching. So I started researching cockatoos, researching parrots in general, and all of that. And since then, I have, while keeping a relationship with him, I dance with him all the time. We play peekaboo. I talk to him all the time. I'll let him out on the top of his cage. I just keep a safe enough distance that I don't have to worry about scaring him. Alan is very easily jumpy. He is very easily scared. He gets very jumpy. And so it can be easy to startle him. And to be honest, I feel like that's where the issue is. There is the aspect of he is very bonded to Andrew. And so Andrew is able to pet him. He's able to pet him here. He's able to have him on his shoulder now still, and he has no issues with it. I think mine stems from my nerves. So that's the whole backstory. There hasn't really been anything too dramatic since. That was really the one really dramatic time. And to be honest, a bird biting or a bird reacting in that way is very normal. They're an animal. They feel scared in some way and react how you would react if you were scared. Whether that was giving us a little warning or trying to catch himself. I really don't believe he meant to hurt me. I think he was trying to catch himself and didn't realize it would hurt me until after. And then he did, and he was very, very apologetic. He was nervous in the corner of his cage. That entire morning, I spent 10 minutes the next morning trying to talk to him. Doing peekaboo, trying to get him to dance with me. Just talking to him, like trying to get him to talk. And he wouldn't. He was so, like, he was just like doing this from the corner of the cage. And then finally I turned around and was like, okay, fine. And as I turned around, he said, I love you. And that's when I turned around and I started talking to him again. And I finally got him to realize, I'm not mad at you. You know, as soon as that happened, he got put back in his cage. And that was kind of setting that boundary of that wasn't good. We're not going to do that again. And he understood that he had hurt me, and he felt really guilty. I could just tell by his mannerisms. He felt really guilty. And so that happened. There hasn't really been anything since. Granted, I have really kept my distance since then, out of not wanting to approach it further until I knew how I wanted to approach it, until I could dedicate the time to learning way more, because I'm very, very basics, barely basics understanding on birds in general, and especially parrots. So until I knew more how to approach it, I didn't want to approach it and not approach it appropriately. I wanted to know what I was doing and make a wise decision on how to approach it before approaching it any further. And I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I'm researching, I'm learning. I have a couple of ideas that I've learned about that I think I want to look into trying and see what I can do. My goal would be to work up to being able to pet him again, and to being able to have him on my shoulder again, and do it confidently, even if cockatoos being a more jumpy breed, there will always be that aspect of needing to watch his body language. Just, I think having that confidence will change everything for me. I think that'll be huge. And growing my understanding, growing my experience with trying things with him and getting more confident with it, not being afraid to try. I think that'll make a huge, huge difference. So me and him do have a good relationship. He does talk to me all the time. He loves dancing with me. He loves playing peekaboo with me. We have a great relationship from a distance. And so I'm hoping, using the tools I've been learning about, that I feel like I want to go into more detail in a different video, I will be able to get to that point and feel so much better. So that has been my experience having him so far. Norbert, who was a parakeet, was my very first bird I had ever owned. And really my first experience with birds, because I had never, no one in my family or friends had ever had a bird while I was around before that. So Norbert was my first experience, and he was a parakeet. And now Alan is my first experience with a parrot, and he's a Bare-Eyed Cockatoo. He is, at this point, about 6 years old, and that is where we're at right now. So if you have any experiences, if you have any questions or things you'd be interested in seeing, let me know. I have found a YouTube channel called Bird Tricks that I'm now like legitimately obsessed with, I think. She is really amazing. Her birds are beautiful, and just watching how she interacts with them, listening to her experiences, her tips and tricks, I think is going to be huge. And so if you have any other good resources, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to have more, and I would love to learn more. So yeah, I know I had briefly touched on a couple of things with Alan before, but I don't think I'd ever fully delved into the story of how things have been so far or anything. So I thought that would be good to do. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye!